Welcome to the Think Forward podcast, where we speak with futurists, innovators, and big thinkers. Come along with your host, Steve Fisher, and explore the future together.
Welcome back, friends, fellow futurists and big thinkers, to the Think Forward show. I'm your host, Steve Fisher. Now, I know the future can seem like a pretty big, scary, and abstract thing. But here's the thing. The future doesn't have to be something we just stumble into. What if I told you could actually shape it? Maybe even make something you're excited about. And that's what we're diving into today. Today's topic is something close to my heart, futures literacy. And no, this isn't about reading some mystical crystal ball or having a sixth sense. Futures literacy is all about understanding and using the future in the present. It's like giving your brain a pair of binoculars so you can spot what's coming and make smarter decisions today. Trust me, it's way more fun than it sounds. I wanted to take a moment to thank many of you who have become regular listeners and subscribers to the show. I genuinely appreciate it. If you are able, I'd love a rating and maybe even a review so I know how I'm doing and what I can do to serve you better. Be honored by your subscription and adding my voice to your listening day. By the end of our chat today, my hope is that you not only get what futures literacy is, but also why it's so crucial for you, for your work, and even for the next generation of big thinkers coming up behind us. So, if you're ready to stop worrying about what's next and start thinking about how you can shape it, you're in the right place. So let's get to it. All right. So what exactly is futures literacy? Futures literacy is like having a superpower that lets you see the world through different lenses. It's about understanding that the future isn't just one thing waiting for us down the road. It's a whole range of possibilities. And the best part? You get to choose which one you want to aim for. So let's break it down a little more. Futures literacy is the ability to read the future, not like a fortune teller or crystal ball, but a way that helps you make better decisions today. So it's like learning a new language. Once you get the hang of it, you start seeing opportunities, risks, and choices you might have missed before. Why does this matter? In a world that seems to change faster than the latest TikTok trend, having a grip on what might come next gives you a huge advantage. Whether you're leading a business, planning your career, or just trying to figure out where to take your life next. Futures literacy helps you navigate the complexity, uncertainty, and let's be honest, the craziness of it all with a lot more confidence. And hey, here's a little secret. I've made it my mission to create 1 million futurists by the end of this decade. Yep, 1 million people who are futures fluent, who can think ahead and make decisions today that shape a better tomorrow. By listening today, you're already on your way to becoming one of them. Before we dive even deeper, I want to do a quick mental exercise. Think about the future, your future, the world's future. Now ask yourself, when you think about the future, do you feel excited, maybe a little anxious, or you try not to think about it at all because life's busy enough as it is? Whatever your answer is, it's totally normal. We all approach the future differently, and that's actually a big part of what makes futures literacy so interesting. It's not about having the right outlook, but about understanding how you think about the future and why. How you feel about the future might change as you learn to see it in new ways. How much the past shapes our ideas about the future. Sounds a bit backwards, right? But think about it. Everything we've learned, even the stories we've been told since we were kids, they all influence how we imagine what comes next. So here's a quick example. Remember when people used to think flying cars would be the norm by now? That idea wasn't just pulled out of thin air. It came from a time when cars were new, about 100 years ago, when everyone was imagining the next big leap. Our visions of the future are often shaped by the innovations and challenges of the past. But here's the catch. If we only look to the past, we might miss out on imagining futures that are truly innovative. That's why being aware of our connection to the past is so important. It helps us understand why we think the way we do, and it gives us a chance to break free from old patterns, to imagine something new and exciting. So as we move forward in our chat today, let's keep one foot in the past, but keep our eyes firmly on the possibilities ahead. All right. Now we've touched on how the past shapes our view of the future. How aware are you of the thoughts and feelings you bring to the table when you think about the future? This is where raising self-awareness comes in. And trust me, it's more important than you might think. Think of it like this. Your emotions, assumptions, and expectations are like filters through which you see the future. If you're feeling anxious, you might see the future as something to be feared. If you're feeling optimistic, Maybe it's full of surprises. These filters can either open up possibilities or close them down. If we're not aware of them, they can limit our ability to imagine what's truly possible. A big part of futures literacy is stepping back and saying, what assumptions am I making here? What emotions are driving my thoughts? And are these helping me or holding me back? By raising your self-awareness, you start to see the future not just as a place you're headed, but as a space you can shape. And that is where the magic happens. So now that we've got a handle on self-awareness, let's dive into some core components of futures literacy. These are the building blocks that help you not just think about the future, but actually start shaping it. And trust me, once you start using these, it's a total game changer. First up, we've got what I like to call expanding cognitive horizons. This is all about broadening your mind to think beyond the obvious. It's easy to get stuck in our usual ways of thinking, right? But when you expand your cognitive horizons, you start to see multiple futures instead of just one. It's like going from watching a movie in 2D to 3D. You get a whole new perspective. Next, we've got cultivating motivational drive. This one's pretty straightforward. If you're not motivated to explore the future, you're not going to get very far. It's that curiosity, that drive to peek around the corner and see what might be coming. It's what keeps you asking, what if? And why not? In a world that's constantly changing, this kind of drive is priceless. We've got enhancing active capabilities. This is where things really get interesting. It's not just about understanding the future, but about actively shaping it. Think of it like this. You've got basic capabilities like understanding trends and making educated guesses. But then you've got active capabilities, which are about taking action, creating the future you want to see. We'll dig into some of these key activity capabilities next, and I promise you they're going to blow your mind. All right, still hanging on? Ready to go deeper? Excellent. So let's dive into some key active capabilities that put the literacy in futures literacy. There are skills that help you not just imagine the future, but actually start creating it. Think of these as your toolkit to building a better tomorrow. First up is global stewardship. Now, I know that might sound a bit heavy, but stick with me. This is about understanding that the future isn't just about you or me, it's about all of us, and how we can live in harmony with our planet. Want a cool example? Check this out. In the UAE, they're merging advanced technologies with the natural environment. They're not just building smart cities, they're building cities that are in tune with nature. It's about seeing nature as a partner, not just a resource. So next time you're working on a project, ask yourself, how can I make this not just good for people, but good for the planet too? Next one we call navigating complexity. Sometimes life feels like a tangled mess of wires, right? Complexity is all around us, and it can feel overwhelming. But here's the trick. Not all complex things are complicated. Complex systems like the environment or the economy require adaptive thinking, not just a quick fix. When you're navigating complexity, you've got to embrace uncertainty and focus on learning as you go. It's not about finding the perfect answer, it's about staying flexible and open to change. So when things start to get a bit messy, it's okay to not have all the answers. Just keep moving forward and adapt as you go. Now let's talk about fostering innovation. This one's a biggie, because without creativity, the future would be pretty boring, right? Fostering innovation is all about challenging the status quo, thinking outside the box and asking, what if we did it differently? Whether it's brainstorming with your team or just daydreaming about new possibilities, creativity is the fuel that powers innovation. So let's make time for it. Play with ideas, mix things up, and don't be afraid to take risks. That's where the real breakthroughs happen. And last, but definitely not least, we've got building compassion. Today is a fast-paced world. It's easy to forget that we're all in this together. Compassion is about understanding different perspectives, walking in someone else's shoes, and making decisions that consider the well-being of others. Without compassion, our future could get pretty cold and disconnected. But with it, we can create a world that's not just smarter, but kinder too. So take a moment every day to really listen, to connect and show a little kindness. It goes a long way. Now that we've covered the personal side of futures literacy, let's zoom out for a bit. If you're in any sort of leadership role, you'll want to pay attention here. So, why should organizations care about futures literacy? Think about how fast the world's changing. New technologies, shifting markets, global challenges like climate change. It's a lot to keep up with, right? Futures literacy gives organizations a way to not just react to these changes, but anticipate them and turn them into opportunities. It's like having a GPS for the future. You can't predict everything, but you can certainly avoid a lot of dead ends. Organizations that embrace futures literacy are much more resilient. They've already explored different scenarios, so when something unexpected happens, whether it's a new competitor or a global pandemic, they're ready to pivot. They can innovate faster, stay ahead of the curve, and keep things stable even when the world around them is anything. But here's the key. Futures literacy isn't just for the C-suite. To really make it work, it has to be embedded across the entire organization. Marketing teams can use it to anticipate changes in consumer behavior. R&D teams can explore future technologies. And when everyone's on the same page, it breaks down silos and leads to more cohesive, innovative strategies. It's like getting the whole crew on board and rowing in the same direction. Suddenly, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. Let's talk about building a futures literate culture. This isn't something you can do overnight, but it's doable with the right mindset. Start with some training programs. Get everyone from the intern to the CEO thinking about the future in a structured way. Workshops, seminars, and experiential learning sessions can all help build this skill. Encourage curiosity and continuous learning. When your team feels empowered to explore new ideas and challenge existing assumptions, that's when the magic happens. Here's the payoff. Organizations that are futures literate often end up setting the trends, not just following them. They innovate more effectively, create new market opportunities, and gain a competitive edge. Plus, they're better at managing risks and ensuring long-term sustainability. Take Unilever, for example. They integrated futures literacy into their sustainability strategy, and it's helped them stay ahead of the curve while strengthening their brand. It's a win-win. If you want your organization to thrive in the 21st century, futures literacy isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a must-have. By embedding it into your strategic processes, you can navigate uncertainty, foster innovation, and set yourself up for long-term success. The future belongs to those who are prepared for it, and futures literacy is your ticket to that future. Let's talk about why it's so important for young people and individuals. The future is going to belong to the next generation, so we've got to make sure they're ready to take the reins. Even if you're not so young anymore, this stuff is just as relevant. So why does this matter? The simple truth is, we can't build a future we haven't first imagined. If we want a better world, whether it's more sustainable, more just, or more awesome, we're going to have to start by envisioning it. That's where futures literacy comes in. It gives people the tools to not only think about what might happen, but to actively shape what will happen. It's about taking ownership of the future rather than just letting it happen to you. One amazing program doing just that is Teach the Future, founded by Dr. Peter Bishop. This program is all about integrating futures thinking into education, helping students develop the skills they need to think critically about the future and their role in it. Imagine if every young person was taught to not only dream big, but to think strategically about how to make those dreams a reality. That's a game changer. Futures literacy can be a powerful tool for personal growth at any age. By exploring different future scenarios, you can better understand your own values, aspirations, and potential challenges. It's like shining a flashlight into the unknown so you can find your way forward with confidence. And the best part? It builds resilience, adaptability, and a proactive mindset, qualities that are absolutely priceless in today's world. So whether you're a student, a teacher, a parent, or just someone looking to get a little more out of life, futures literacy is for you. It's about empowering yourself and the next generation to navigate the challenges ahead, but to create the kind of future we all want to live in. We've covered a lot of ground today, from understanding what futures literacy is, to exploring how it can shape your life, your work, and even the world around you. Let's take a moment to reflect. Think about your current level of futures literacy. Where do you excel? Maybe you're great at thinking creatively about what's possible. Maybe you've got a knack for navigating complexity. Also consider where you might improve. Are there assumptions you need to challenge? Or maybe you could work to being more proactive in shaping the future you want to see. Here's my challenge to you. Start developing these futures literacy components in your own life and work. Pick one active capability, whether it's global stewardship, navigating complexity, fostering innovation, or building compassion, and focus on it. We see how it transforms our perspective, how it opens up new possibilities, and how it empowers you to take charge of the future. And don't worry, we're just getting started on this journey together. For now, I want to thank you for joining me on the Think Forward Show. In future episodes, we'll continue our Being a Futurist series and delve into more topics. Be sure to stay tuned. Remember, the future isn't something that happens, it's something we can shape together. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the future. Until next time, stay curious, stay open, and always think forward.
Thanks for listening to the Think Forward podcast. You can find us on all the major podcast platforms and at www.thinkforwardshow.com, as well as on YouTube under Think Forward Show. See you next time.